ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my new video. So, as you know, guys, the war with Israel and Iran has started, and it's been an interesting couple of days, actually. Where do I start here, guys? Look, the aggressor is obviously Israel. There was negotiations taking place between Israel, Iran, and United States. And over the last weekend, Trump said that there will be a final round of negotiations happening with Iran, USA, and with Israel on a Sunday, which was last week. And what do Israel do? They start attacking Iran without any prior notice. This is absolute barbarism, guys. The world has been running with the UN International Charter. One country, there's one country here, Israel, which is attacking its neighbors without any punishment, without any action. They've gone absolutely crazy and nobody's doing anything about it. Attacking sovereign nations like Iran with no proof, no nothing. What's her name? Tulsi Gabbard came on Congress, just a couple of months ago. She said Iran was not producing nuclear weapons from the intelligence that she's seen. And then a reporter asked Trump, Tulsi Gabbard said there's no weapons of mass destruction on Iran. And Trump said, right in front of the camera, he goes, I don't care what she says. Basically, Trump is, I don't know what they got on Trump, but, there's people saying that he's on Epstein's list. There's people saying that Israel is blackmailing him. He's under Israel's pay. They control him in every way possible. He's a complete Zionist. He's a complete puppet of Israel. And he isn't America first, guys. He is Israel first. Trump was famously on camera and on tweets. He said many times that, when Obama was president and people before him, he said, trillions of money was wasted on Iraq on false evidence. And he said, Obama's going to take us to World War III. He doesn't have any negotiation skills. And guess what? Trump is doing exactly the same thing, but much worse. Much, much worse, guys. This is absolutely crazy. So let's go through the technicalities of this war. So it happened, Iran was taken out of surprise, to be honest, when Israel attacked Iran. Iran was completely surprised. They did not expect any attack. They thought they were negotiating, and Israel went off on its own. And it's been crazy. And Israel did actually do a successful attack on Iran. They attacked many sites. They killed a lot of top administrators, and they destroyed a lot of important buildings. They even attacked some nuclear sites as well. What has the world come to when it's okay for one country to attack another country's nuclear site? This is complete barbarism, right? When you attack a nuclear site, the fallout from the nuclear radiation, can affect millions, kill millions. Just the radiation itself. This is beyond crazy, right? Absolutely crazy. And now Trump is talking about he might nuclear attack Iran, for example. This was on Fox News. He said just a couple of days ago, he said bunker busters might not destroy the nuclear sites. He might have to use a nuclear option. This guy's gone crazy. He's talking about nuclear attacking another country where there's no proof, no nothing. This is like Iraq all over again. If you remember, Iraq was attacked because they thought Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, but which they didn't. And now they're doing the same thing to Iran, but they might use nuclear weapons on Iran. This is absolutely crazy, right? If they use nuclear weapons on Iran, I mean, you're opening a big can of worms here, right? If you're going to attack one country with nuclear weapons, with no proof, no nothing, then what's going to stop other countries, rushing to get nuclear weapons and start firing nuclear weapons of their own without any UN approval, without any backing, without any intelligence? Russia can start nuclear weaponing NATO sites, and they can start, firing nuclear weapons at Ukraine if America's going to do it to Iran. This is absolutely crazy. It's going to open a big can of worms. And imagine all the fallout that's going to cause, all the radiation poisoning. This is beyond words, guys, beyond words. Okay, guys, so I'm going to be really honest and blunt here. Iran is also at fault. They need to be going nuclear as soon as possible. What are they waiting for? They've had 30 years to go nuclear. 30 years. America has been planning to attack Iran after they were talking about attacking Iran after Iraq. So 30 years they knew this attack was coming. So 30 years they needed to get the bomb. They needed to do a nuclear test and just let the world know, hi guys, we've got nuclear weapons. If you dare to use any nuclear weapons against us, we will use it against you. So what are they waiting for? I mean, I've seen some Iranians telling me that the only reason Iran hasn't got nuclear weapons is because Khomeini, Grand Ayatollah Khomeini, said that nuclear weapons is haram, it's against the religion, because the religion forbids using weapons of mass destruction. So that's the only reason they haven't built the bomb yet. But look, guys, if another country like Israel is ready to use nuclear weapons against you and wipe out your entire civilization, wipe out your entire country, wipe out every single Iranian, then what's religion got to do with it? This is survival. I'm sure God would be like, if this was 100 years ago and your enemies had guns, right? And you basically had sticks and weapons, and your Grand Ayatollah at the time saying, oh, we shouldn't really have guns, they are weapons of mass destruction. So are you going to allow your enemies to start coming in, shoot, kill all the Iranians in your country, and every single last Iranian? Are you going to just sit there and not produce guns yourself? That's suicide. That's crazy. The modern world requires you to have equal weapons to kind of protect yourself. If your enemy has weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons, then you need to do the same for survival. This is nothing about religion. If every single Iranian is wiped out with nuclear weapons, is your God going to be happy about it? Is your God going to say, yeah, okay, yeah, you guys die. Don't build nuclear weapons. You just sit there and die with nuclear fallout. Don't do anything back. Just take it. I mean, this is beyond parody. You need to build a nuclear weapon to show strength. And it's also, you don't need to use it. You can just use it as a deterrent. So if you've got nuclear weapons, other countries will not use it against you because it's, mutual destruction. The same way Pakistan and India, they know that, if a war escalates between them, nuclear weapons will be used. So this is why, the clash that Pakistan and India had the other day only lasted a few days, because they know that if it lasts any longer, then with escalation, things could get really, really nasty. Somebody might use a nuclear weapon. So nuclear weapons are a deterrent as well. You don't need to use it, but your enemy knows that you've got it, so they basically, they have to be careful what they do. They can't just come in and bomb your country, for example. And, nuclear weapons is the reason why NATO is not getting involved with Russia. This is why they've stopped picking on North Korea, for example. If you notice, Western countries have stopped picking on North Korea since they had nuclear weapons. But before that, they were picking on them every single day. The West, fears strength. If you show any weakness, they will pounce on you. Gaddafi got rid of his nuclear weapons program. What did they do? They got rid of him a few years later, and they've destroyed Libya. If you kept them, it would have been different. This is what the West does. If they see any sort of weakness, they will pounce. They don't care about international law or anything. You have to be strong in this world, in this day and age. So the other thing Iranians have made with a big mistake is they didn't buy any Chinese weapons. And I don't know if it's arrogance, I don't know if it's racism, I don't know if it's stupidity, but they didn't buy any Chinese planes. They didn't buy any Chinese anti-aircraft guns. Pakistan has done the right thing, and they bought lots of, Chinese planes, anti-aircraft guns, communications, radars, and the whole system is developed with Chinese technology, and every one of their system is linked with each other. So this is why Pakistan was able to use Chinese weapons to take down 5 Rafale jets. And, this really scared India. And India basically said, oh crap, we can't carry on with this war. We're going to be absolutely destroyed, so we have to stop. And imagine if Iranians had, J-10 fighters and J-17 fighters, maybe hundreds of them. If they bought them, Israeli jets would have no chance whatsoever. I mean, right now, these Israeli jets are attacking all over western part of Iran, because that's how far they can go. And they're attacking lots, they managed to, go into Iranian airspace. First they fly through Syria, because Syria's been destroyed. So there's no anti-aircraft guns in Syria. So they fly over Syria. They fly over northern Iraq, because northern Iraq is controlled by Kurds, and they are friendly towards Israel. So they allow airspace to Israel, and from there they fly into Iran, and they do a few refueling missions, which is provided by America and also Germany. And they do a few sorties in the west of Iran, and they fly back. So that's what they've been doing. So if the Iranians had Chinese planes with long-range PL-15 missiles, they could easily be able to take down a lot of these F-35 jets, with Chinese radars, with Chinese anti-aircraft guns as well. Everything would be used in coordination, and it would have been saving a lot of Iranian lives. And people might say, oh, they don't have the money. Look, guys, they have the money. They've been buying Chinese, they've been basically selling, oil to the Chinese for a number of years, even though they've had heavy sanctions. They've been basically selling lots of oil to China with high prices. Don't forget, oil has been very high over the last few years. And not only that, they went to a couple of Chinese air shows, and they decided, they did check out the J-10, they did check out the J-17. For some reason, they decided not to buy it, whether they thought it was inferior technology or they had some sort of inferiority complex against the Chinese. And they decided not to buy it. And what did they do? They decided to buy Russian Su-35s instead, I think. Is it Su-35s? Yeah. Su-35s instead. But the problem with the Su-35, Russia is in the middle of a war with Ukraine. So no Su-35 have arrived in Iran, not even single one, because Russia, their main priority is Ukraine. So they cannot be, producing these jets and then sending it to Iran while they have their own security at risk. Their main priority is their war. So Iranians are going to have to wait like more than 10 years. But if they bought it from China, these jets would have been ready, delivered by now. Because Chinese manufacturing, you can't beat that. If they ordered 100, there would have been 100 delivered by middle of next week. And China is not in the middle of a war. So, and not only that, it takes time to train the fighters, train jets, and everything like that. So that would have taken a couple of years. So they should have been ready years ago, guys, years ago. Iran had 30 years to prepare for this. And the only thing they did good was allowing their missiles to be linked to Chinese Beidou satellite systems. And this is why, the Iranian missile technology has improved so much over the last few years, because they used Chinese navigation, Beidou systems, to target, Israeli cities and stuff like that. And that's probably the best decision Iran has made. And a lot of their missile technology and a lot of their equipment comes from China. So China delivers lots of missile equipment. I think they are still delivering them. Over the last few days, there have been some Chinese planes, landed in Iran. Obviously, there's no proof, but I think a lot of people are assuming these planes have been landing in Iran because they switch off their transponders just before they arrive in China. Obviously, there's no proof, but obviously, I think most people think it is happening. And there's also a direct rail line going from China to Iran as well. This has recently been finished, so I think there's a few stuff going via rail as well. So China is helping Iran in certain ways as well. But Iran should have been ready for everything, guys. I mean, planes, anti-aircraft, the full works. They should have just allowed China to kind of military equip them and be ready for any war scenario. So if it wasn't for the missiles, Iran would have been cooked. But luckily, with these missiles, they have been hitting Israeli cities, and Israelis have been absolutely shocked by the accuracy of Iranian missiles. And this is why Israel has now, asked America for help. So Israel, they start the wars, and they basically want America to finish it. They want American lives, they want American soldiers, and they want American money to basically finish the job with Iran. But this has been planned for Iran to attack Iran for a number of years, for 30 years. 7 countries after Iraq, they wanted to topple, and they've done 6 of them already, and Iran is the final boss. They've taken down Syria, so they can fly their planes across Syria. They've taken down almost every other Middle Eastern country surrounding Israel. Every country surrounding Israel is basically Israel friendly. We're talking about Egypt, Jordan, even the Lebanon government, not Hezbollah, but the actual Lebanon government is Israel friendly. You got Syria now, which is Israel friendly. You got parts of Iraq, not all of Iraq, but parts of Iraq, Syria is Israel friendly. Yeah, you got Turkey supplying oil to Israel. You got, I think it's Armenia or Azerbaijan, one of the two is Israel friendly. So you have a lot of countries surrounding Israel who are already Israel friendly, and and Iran is basically was the last boss for them. But they have been surprised by Iranian missile technology, and I think Iran has been, obviously been stocking up on missiles and building up their missile technology for years now. And And the way they've been attacking Israel is they throw a lot of old missiles first to get rid of a lot of the anti-aircraft fire from Israel, and then the good ones then come in later and hit some really good targets. So Israel is not ready for a long war. I mean, you've got to remember when Iran had a 10-year war with Iraq. I think, Iraq was heavily supplied with weapons by the West. Saddam at the time was the West's best friend. He was used to fight Iran. And they lasted 10 years in that war. And Saddam was provided with money, weapons by the West, unlimited. But they still could not beat Iranians. So Iran is ready for a long war. And Israel isn't, because Israel needs lots of equipment from America, from the West, and lots of money, which at the moment the West doesn't have. The West is absolutely, they absolutely, wasted so much money on Ukraine. Hundreds of billions they've spent on Ukraine, hundreds of billions, even trillions they've spent on Iraq, Afghanistan. They really don't have the money or the time or the resources anymore to provide unlimited amounts of weapons for a long war to Israel. There is no way this is happening to Israel. Already people are leaving Israel. Israel's economy is cooked, guys, absolutely cooked. There's hardly any businesses in Israel which is running. Their ports are mostly closed. Their ports are being bombed, like Haifa, Tel Aviv. All the tech companies are hardly any running in Israel anymore. Most of the people in Israel are in the IDF, so they've been drafted in the IDF. So the Israel economy is not running at the moment. It is purely backed by American taxpayers. So Trump and his friends are basically paying Israel's salary. So they cannot last a long war, but Iran can. The West knows this. America knows this, Israel knows this. So I think this is why they want to attack Iran with a nuclear weapon. I think their plan is to hit Iran's nuclear sites with a nuclear weapon, and then they hope for Iran to surrender, like the Japanese did after getting nuked in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I think they want Iran to basically surrender after they nuke them. I think that's their plan, because they know they can't go for a long war, so they're going to try and do a short one. So that's my worry, guys. And this could happen over this weekend. Yes, I'm not joking. I mean, this could happen over this weekend, because you see a lot of troop movements. They're moving troops out of Qatar. They're moving B-2 bombers around. They're moving aircraft carriers around. So there's a lot of movement happening from America towards Iran. And Trump has said that, he wants to give Iran 2 weeks to negotiate. But you can't believe anything Trump says. He also said that he wants to see negotiations between Iran and America, last week. And guess what? Israel attacked 3 days before the negotiation. So you can't believe anything Trump says. It's just a smokescreen. End of the day, he's not in control. People in control are the people who control Trump. And we're talking about his donors, his backers, who are mainly Israeli Jews. So yeah, it could happen this weekend, guys. I really hope I'm wrong. But they could attack Iran, and I really hope it's not a nuclear weapon, and I really hope they don't attack nuclear sites. But I have a really bad feeling they could. So let me know what you guys think. I'll leave it here for now, and let's chat in the comment section. Take care for now, guys.